الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Welcome to Let the Quran Speak. My name is Sophia, I'm your host. The aim of Let the Quran Speak is to help you gain deeper insights into Muslims and Islam, as it is practiced here and in other parts of the world. In this episode, we'll be discussing gangs in reference to the shooting at Eden Center a few weeks ago, which left a Muslim youth dead. How can youth avoid being involved in gang activity? We'll be looking at that a little bit later, but before we get to that topic, Luka Rocco Magnotta, he allegedly sexually assaulted and murdered a university student in Montreal. The body was brutalized, dismembered, and cannibalized, all of it videotaped and posted online. How have we strayed so far from the biblical commandment, thou shalt not kill? How can we reclaim our moral sense of the evil of committing harm to others in a world in which people are easily killed and human life seems cheap? In studio with us today, Brother Shabir Ali. Brother Shabir, let's discuss this horrific case. What are your thoughts on it? I'm sure you've read quite a bit.
Yes, one of the most troubling aspects of it is that there is a fan club out there, people wanting to see this sort of thing. And it is reported that this video clip that was produced by the killer and posted on the website received 300,000 hits. On just one site where it was posted, and that's only within a window of 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the 300,000. You know, that's the number of people who might be watching American Idol at one time. So how do you get like such a large number of people just waiting, thirsty for this sort of gory video? People want to see murders done live. And all kinds of brutal things and unspeakable acts done to a defenseless dead human body.
Mm-hmm. I believe some people were commenting that, you know, the murder didn't actually take place on video, that some aspects were missing from the video itself that was posted online.
Yes, yes, and that shows that people are just hungry for more. They're saying, look, we didn't actually see the guy die. I mean, something is missing here, like, do more. This is the kind of reaction that people are offering. And that shows that not only do we have dangerous killers on the loose, but we also have a fan club, a mm-hmm. following, who are goading them on and saying, yeah, do this because we want to see more. Give us some more of these gory videos.
Mm-hmm. In addition, some commentators who have watched this murder investigation unfold have said that some of the aspects of the murder show that they were copied or mimicked from movies that the individual must have watched.
Yes, and this shows why we need to be careful about what we put into our minds. You know, the Islamic tradition emphasizes the human mind. This is one of the reasons why Muslim scholars say that alcohol is prohibited for consumption, because the alcohol clouds the mind. It blocks the intellect, and the intellect is one of the greatest gifts that God has given us. The Quran speaks again and again about the aql, or reason, of human intellect as being a special gift from God that we should cherish and that we should nourish and we should always develop. But if we put, you know, junk things into our minds, it's like eating junk food, and eventually we suffer the results of that. Well, everything we watch, everything we listen to, everything we read has an effect on us. It shapes the mind. Mm-hmm. And we have to look at the ways in which we are feeding our minds, because we could either nourish it, or we could malnourish it, or we could feed it junk and get eventually a junk mind as a result.
Mm-hmm. So how could an individual living in this world that is saturated with these images and these video clips and all those sorts of things that glorify violence, how can they maintain that moral sense of right and wrong?
Well, one has to look at the choices that are available and always pick the better choices. We can't say that all video games are bad, but we can say that there are some very horrific and violent ones. Those should be definitely avoided. And then on the other side, there are some good ones, which I don't know which ones are good ones, but I'm sure there are. Mm-hmm. And one just simply has to make those choices. Among movies, there are good ones and bad ones. There are some violent movies. Terrible ones with frightening scenes and with horrific things being done. So avoid those, and especially in the presence of children, and pick the ones that are good, with good messages, with good moral outcomes. In the old days, the good guys always won, right? Mm-hmm. But now we're seeing movies where the bad guys sometimes win. They come out ahead at the end, such as the Ocean's 11 series, where it's the bad guys. What we would have traditionally thought of to be bad guys, they're celebrated and shown to be heroes, and they come out ahead. They do some tricks and they whatever scam they have concocted, and in the end they win. So this gives a wrong message to the children, and shapes their minds to think that, well, yeah, we can do such things and we might come out ahead. So we have to watch for these and eliminate these from the arsenal of that which will be delivered to the children.
Mm-hmm. In Islam, we have this idea that the human soul is sacred. Do you think an understanding of this or an elaboration of this to these sorts of individuals might help, or are they gone? Are they lost?
Well, definitely we need to start with this at a very young age. We have come a long way where modern society has turned away from religious teachings. But one of the most fundamental teachings in the Bible is there in the Ten Commandments: "Thou shalt not murder." And you mentioned this earlier. But as much as children, go to Sunday school and they learn this, it becomes part of their whole thinking. This becomes like a very clear directive: "Thou shalt not murder," and this stays with a person throughout his or her life, or at least this is the expectation. But if one does not get that schooling, and one just simply is being told, well, these old books, you don't have to listen to them, don't worry about them, just be yourself, do what you like, do what you enjoy, and so on. It just so happens that some people will enjoy this sort of gore and killing and murder and rape and stealing and so on. All of these things do provide some entertainment or some enjoyment for the people who like to do them. And so we learn in the Islamic tradition that hell is surrounded by the desires. It's the things that people desire to do that they will do, and then they will end up in hell. But the same commandment, "Thou shalt not murder," is mentioned in the Quran in several places. In Surah 17, for example, it mentions "La taqtulu an-nafsa allati harrama Allahu illa bil haqq." Do not take the life of the soul that God has made sacred, except in the pursuit of justice, when it becomes, in the case of capital crimes, for example, it becomes necessary to resort to this sort of extreme penalty to ensure that further crimes are not committed and society on the whole remains safe. So the human life is considered to be sacred. In Surah 5 in the 32nd verse, it says that if you kill a soul, then it is as if you have killed an entire populace. Because if you think, you're just thinking of that one person now, but if you think of what the potential progeny of this one individual, you are really killing off an entire branch of a human community that could have existed.
Mm-hmm. Do you think part of the culture that emphasizes satisfying oneself and seeking pleasure to the highest extreme, do you think that contributes to this sort of subversive kind of attitude?
Yes. If this is the attitude in life, that I just do what I enjoy and I do it to the utmost.
Because there's no sense of responsibility, right? You just do what pleases you.
Exactly. Whereas the great religions of the world teach that there is something bigger and better than just me. There's this whole universe. We're connected to the universe in some way. In the Hindu tradition, you have the idea of karma. what you do will come back to haunt you in a following life. In the Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition, you have the idea of the afterlife. You live in this life once, you die, and then you face judgment. So all of your actions do, in fact, come back to haunt you. If not now, then in the life hereafter. You have to account for what you have done. In the Islamic tradition, it is mentioned that everything is recorded, and all of your actions then will be shown before you on the day of judgment. This is what you have done in life. What do you say for yourself now? So sometimes we can run from the law, but we can't run from Allah. This is the basic theme of a Muslim life. So, you know, this guy, if he's the one who has done it, that has to be decided in the courts. But so far, it looks like, you know, he did his crimes in Montreal, and then he left for Paris, and eventually he was in Germany, and he was just simply looking at himself when he was eventually caught.
All right, we have to leave it at that. Thank you for your
You're
time,
welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we look at gangs.